Okay, so I'm going to begin presenting about the Expressive Arts Therapy concentration of the Masters of Counseling Psychology program at the California Institute of Integral Studies. My name is Danielle Drake, and I am one of the core faculty members in the program. And CIIS is a unique educational institution that encompasses 22 leading edge graduate programs and an undergraduate program that attracts passionate learners and international renown. So we strive to embody spirit, intellect, and wisdom in service to individuals, communities, and the earth. Looking at transdisciplinary, cross-cultural, and applied studies using face-to-face, hybrid, and online pedagogical approaches. We offer a personal learning environment and a supportive community, and CIIS provides an excellent multifaceted education for people committed to transforming themselves, the others, and the world. So what is expressive arts therapy? Expressive arts therapy integrates a range of modalities into counseling and psychotherapy. And so as expressive arts therapists, we're sort of skilled at knowing which approaches to use with any client system at any given time, and really weaving the arts together for a transformative experience. The creative art and the difference between expressive arts therapy and the creative arts therapies is that the creative arts therapies are single arts modalities woven in with therapy. So things like music therapy, art therapy, dance therapy, drama therapy, poetry, and poetry therapy, and others. So while the creative arts therapies seek to go deep, expressive arts therapists seek to go broadly across modalities in order to weave a depthful and transformative experience for our clients. So looking at expressive arts therapy at CIIS, we educate and train the future leaders of the expressive arts therapy field using the power of the arts as tools for human growth, social change, and empowered self-agency. And this is accomplished through an innovative scholar, artist, practitioner model, which bridges the gap between academic knowledge and community engagement. And we in the faculty consider each student to be a unique contributor to the learning community due to our students' diverse backgrounds, experience, and interests. And this is really an important point for us. We intentionally developed a scholar, artist, practitioner model to really celebrate and uplift all of the various identities that our students come into the program with, and the parts of themselves that they develop as a part of going through the program. So it's about our students as scholars and adult learners, people who have experiences in the world that are valuable and diverse and represent viewpoints from many different communities. We value the artist that is inside of each person, the ability to really acknowledge our somatic body information and how that affects who we are as artists and our artistry, and as practitioners in the mental health field who are seeking to use these incredible experiences as learners and people who have diverse life experiences and diverse experiences within the realm of creativity and the arts to facilitate change and transformative experiences for our client systems. And I like the use of the word client systems because it acknowledges the interdependence that we have as citizens of our communities and our world, as members of our families and communities, as friends and partners, and all of the various identities that we carry. So when we think of ourselves as client systems, it's really that we're embedded in communities that we love and care about and want to help in the process of enacting change for these communities when in need. So the Expressive Arts Therapy program, just some of the goals of the program are to demonstrate the capacity to integrate a range of expressive arts practices into psychotherapy. And this includes therapy with individuals, couples, families, and groups, always with sensitivity to our intersectional identities, which includes gender identification, sexual orientation, race, ethnicity, differing abilities, socioeconomic status, and spiritual and religious practices. And it's not just that we want to separate all of those out, but we're really interested in the inquiry about what happens as we, come to those intersections where all of these various parts of identity intersect with one another and really make us who we are as people. Translate expressive arts interventions and processes into standard psychological language and vice versa. This is really important because as expressive arts therapists, often we are talking about ideas like the liminal space and what happens, when we engage with clients for transformation through creative outlets. And then what does that mean when we're talking to psychiatrists, or we're talking to physicians, or when we're talking to social workers? And how do we create a common language that acknowledges the wisdom of the creative arts within the context of mental health? And that's really important to us. Articulate when expressive arts approaches are appropriate and when they may be contraindicated within a particular clinical situation. So this is really about understanding the brain-body connection and understanding how information comes into the body, how people are understanding this information, and when a particular process might be overwhelming and we need to maybe do something that's a little different in order to, acknowledge a person's maybe trauma history or something like that. So it's really important for us to understand how the arts really affect the body and the brain together in order to, transform, and when certain processes are appropriate. To demonstrate the capacity to weave together expressive arts and recovery-oriented principles and practices into treatment. And again, this is really important to us because we come from a social justice perspective in delivering our program. And one of the biggest social justice practices that we have is the recovery-oriented model, which comes out of the survivor, and I'm using air quotes right now when I say survivor community, but really that it's looking at folks who have received mental health services, their families, their communities, that kind of thing, and really seeking to uplift the wisdom of the community of those individuals who have received services, and to inquire about what they know about what it means to be healthy for them, not within the context of ourselves, but within the context of their experiences. And of course, that is also paired with what we know about therapy services that work or have worked for different people, and how we can pair those together for the best experience for the client given their background experiences and what works well for them in tandem. Demonstrate personal growth and development through the use of expressive arts practices. This is actually one of my favorite parts about being an expressive arts therapist, is that I don't have to leave my artist identity aside in order to do this work. That very much it's about how I engage in my own art and how that affects who I am when I'm sitting with clients in a group, or sitting with a family, sitting with individuals, that my identity as an artist helps inform me about who I am and what benefit I could be potentially to any given client system at any given time. And that it's important for me to continually engage in these processes, because it helps me understand myself, my role in the world, and what I hope to be able to bring forward in terms of my own purpose, intention, and sort of spiritual connection. Demonstrate ability to conceptualize and intervene holistically, which addresses body, mind, and spirit. And this is really important. And I think a value that spans the institution as a whole, CIIS as a whole, really wanting to uplift the somatic and spiritual processes within therapy, which is not something that happens very often within the larger context of the arena of psychology, but something that is starting to gain more traction. And so we're really looking at whole person wellness and what this means for ourselves and our clients as we come into relationship with one another. Our curriculum follows a licensure track that is mandated by the state of California in preparation for licensure as marriage and family therapist or professional clinical counselor, which is available for you all this fall. So students follow a curriculum that prepares them to become a registered expressive arts therapist as well. And this is via the International Expressive Arts Therapy Association. And so the unique way that we deliver the classes, we integrate and weave in expressive arts therapy approaches throughout all of the classes. So there are experientials. It's a very hands-on program that really prioritizes multiple ways of knowing and multiple ways of learning. So our curriculum is integrative and developmental. So the theories and skills are sequenced to build upon each other, both within semesters and across years. And this is really important to us, again, as a faculty, because we have been teaching this curriculum. We understand how students tend to learn the theories and skills of counseling psychology. And so we try to build the curriculum so that it's sequential, it sort of makes sense, and that each semester builds one on top of the other, and that the courses that you're taking within any given semester are designed to give you a good breadth and understanding of the field as it is sort of rolled out to you through our curriculum. And the focus is building on core competencies as counselors and expressive arts therapy practitioners through an ongoing process of personal, peer, and faculty assessment. So it's very much about, having a personal reflective capacity to understand where you are and sort of where you want to be and how well you're doing at getting there, being able to work with peers and to be able to hear feedback and critique from both peer and faculty in the development of your skills as a whole, and to use experiential expressive arts activities for both academic and clinical learning in the classroom. So the learning is very active and collaborative and experiential based. And I'm actually a graduate of the Expressive Arts Therapy program at CIIS. And one of the things that I remember being very grateful for within the process of being a student, it was the way in which the learning in its experiential nature really helped me to understand the theory, So whatever it was that we were learning, that the arts-based activities were designed to help me sort of create a touchstone within my itself, whether it was through an image or a symbol or a color or a movement, that there was always something that was happening from a creative perspective in the experientials that really provided a marker for me in terms of learning the theory in a cognitive way. And so it combined, just somatic knowing, body knowing, the knowing that comes from being an artist in the ways that we learn and sort of develop cognitively as well. And so that was something that I found very unique, and that was also very helpful and my preferred way of learning. Had I known that I could learn like this, I would have requested this when I was, in preschool. So the MCP curriculum also includes a variety of different courses designed to help you build those, help students build the core counseling competencies. And so students take coursework in theories and practices of counseling and psychotherapy, multicultural counseling and the therapeutic relationship, group facilitation, human development, couples counseling, family therapy, research methods, alcohol and substance abuse, human sexuality, psychopathology, community mental health, child therapy, careers counseling, and we also have an ethics course that is also included in this MCP sort of general curriculum. The Expressive Arts Therapy curriculum, this is the core EXA curriculum. This also includes psychological assessment and creative arts therapy, approaches to expressive arts therapy, intermodal expressive arts therapy, which is a specific approach developed by Stephen and Ellen Levine out of Toronto. Movement-centered expressive arts therapy, which uses the Tamalpa model developed by Daria Halprin, drama, which is out of the Tamalpa Institute in Marin County. Drama-centered expressive arts therapy, in which students are learning techniques from Moreno around psychodrama, as well as playback theater and that kind of thing. Advanced expressive arts, person-centered expressive arts, which comes out of the humanistic tradition of Carl Rogers and was developed by his daughter, Natalie Rogers. So that's the person-centered approach. Narrative and collaborative therapy and expressive arts therapy, which combines the work of Michael White and David Epstein with expressive arts therapy. And this is actually very unique to CIIS. There's no other program that teaches narrative and expressive arts therapy together. And it's actually one of my specialties. I just got off a plane this morning from Narrative Educator Camp in Vermont, where I was with other narrative educators. And I was the only one there that integrates expressive arts therapy. And so we've been asked to do some day-long trainings next year at the camp and then down at San Diego State University. So this is a really unique part of our program here. We also provide some specific training on expressive arts and trauma and arts in healthcare. So the expressive arts coursework continues in the third year with a practicum, which meets the California state requirements, which includes 225 direct service hours for MFT licensure or 280 direct service hours if folks are looking for the LPCC designation. And these are all direct service hours that are done in an approved practicum, which includes supervision on site at the practicum placements and expressive arts-based supervision at CIIS. And so there's a wide range of possibilities, both locally and nationally. There we go. And then in the third year, integrated seminar is one of the courses that is taken, and that's in the final semester, and includes culminating projects that integrate and affirm and celebrate students' academic, clinical, and artistic learning and achievement. And the two major projects that come out of the integrated seminar are the case presentation symposium, where each student in Practicum presents one case, whether it is an individual, couple, family, group, whatever, one case that they've been working with and how they have integrated both theory and expressive arts into their practice. And then the visual and performing arts presentation that is completely designed and developed by the graduating cohort. As a part of the training in the second year at CIIS, students have an opportunity to work at Glide's Family, Youth, and Child Center. And the photos here are from the staff retreat that we have done with the Glide FYCC staff in the past. And Glide, if for the folks who are not in the Bay Area, is a spiritual institution that really highlights social justice and community service in economically depressed area of San Francisco. And so it's located in the Tenderloin, which has historically had just a lot of effects from poverty, which, you know, and just what I'm going to call social ecological challenges, which include poverty and which increases violence in communities and things like that. And so we have been working with their Family, Youth, and Child Center for about 5 or 6 years now, and really providing some services to the youth and their families there around social emotional learning through expressive arts therapy. The photos here from the expressive arts case presentation, or I'm sorry, final arts performances from one of the graduating cohorts from the years prior. So we offer 2 different ways to access the program. Students have the option of either doing the residential program, which we've been doing since 1999, and the low residency program, which we are rolling out this fall. Both programs offer a thorough education in theories and methods of counseling with extensive training in expressive arts therapy. They're both 3-year full-time curricula, which cover individual, group, couples, and family therapy, including a year-long practicum under the supervision of licensed mental health professionals who are also expressive arts therapists in the 3rd year. Individual learner-centered approaches to teaching, action learning principles and practices, integration of mind, body, spirit, and social justice into all aspects of the program, valuing the healing power of the arts in their own right, week-long residential seminars in which students and faculty come together for experiential, intermodal, arts-based learning, classes spaced out over the semester, each semester, and the opportunity to work with a dedicated site of practice to enhance basic counseling skill sets. And each student is, whether in the residential or low residency program, are required to have 50 hours of arts-based personal therapy. In the full-time residential option, some of the highlights are 3 years of face-to-face study at CIIS's campus in San Francisco through our residency weeks, which occur every semester. In the 2nd year, students integrate theory and expressive arts practice in an improved community setting, either paid or voluntary, and a formal practicum in the 3rd year with dedicated supervision by a licensed EXA therapist. In the low residency program, the week-long residential seminars occur at the beginning of every semester. Classes are attended via online sessions, webinars, and video conferencing, individualized sessions and advising during via an EXA mentor coach. and the development of study plans to be applied at a site of practice in the student's own community, which again can either be paid or voluntary. So some of the frequently asked questions for the low residency program. One is the low residency program truly experiential if part of it is online? And our answer to that is a resounding yes. One of the things that we all value, I think, as core faculty members is experiential learning. And so we want to be able to really weave that into all of the work that we do. I don't think any one of us wants to be like chained to a computer doing, typing out, written responses to, assignments and needing to grade those in sort of a, I'm going to say boring way. I feel like we can definitely have more interaction, more relationality, and that's our goal. And one of the core strengths of the low residency program is that the students are at the center of, dictating their own learning goals and needs and integrating and applying their education in real time in their home communities, really looking at the university without walls philosophy, working one-on-one with mentor coaches, and an opportunity to really engage the self, and just all of the personal relationships in the inquiry of understanding what it means to be relational in one's life as a practice of how to be with others in a counseling setting. Should I be concerned that the low residency program is in its first year? And although the low residency option is in its first year, the EXA program is well established. The curriculum for the low residency program has been developed and applied over the past 20 years within the residential option and has graduated over 350 alumni. In addition, our faculty possess a wealth of prior experience in the development and application of online education programs. And I'll talk about these now. So for me, I've developed curricula for hybrid and online coursework in community mental health and African-centered psychology. I'm also currently in a low residency clinical psychology doctoral program, and I feel like I've had some really great experiences in that program, which I am currently weaving into a lot of the hybrid coursework for our program. And I have had some experiences that I thought could be better, which I'm also weaving the learning from those experiences as I develop curricula for the online coursework. Shoshana Simons also has over 20 years of experience in the field integrating experiential learning in online classes, as does Christine Brooks. And Phil Weglars has helped to design and implement CIIS's, the Expressive Arts Therapy first hybrid course, EXA Integrative Seminar. And he's also a student in a low residency doctoral program at CIIS. So, who should apply? Successful applicants will possess prior working experience with people in human service, educational and/or related settings, prior coursework in psychology. And this is sort of important to us because we come in with a sort of deconstructionist approach to teaching theories of psychology. We like to recognize the history of a lot of the theories that are taught in psychology programs, acknowledging that they have come from some very specific places in the world, particularly Northwestern Europe cultures, which did not necessarily prioritize during the times that they were created perspectives from women, folks of color, folks with developmental disabilities or neurodiverse individuals. And so that's something that we sort of deconstruct as we go through a lot of the theories that we teach. And that's really a part of the way, the social justice capacity that we are developing in students as we go along. Students or successful applicants, I will say, have an abundance of creativity, a passion for the arts as tools for healing, a commitment to social justice and service in diverse communities, flexibility, resilience, and self-motivation, inquiring minds and hearts, compassion and forgiveness for self and others, and that's a really big one, capacity for self-reflection and critique, enjoyment of collaboration, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. So some of the alumni testimonials. The XA program at CIIS opened my eyes to what it means to be a culturally sensitive therapist and person. The bonds I made with peers in the program have turned into wonderfully productive friendships. I built projects with colleagues which I would never have had the gall to take on alone. The EXA program gave me the skills and support I needed to work both inside and out of institutions from a place of heart and liberation while facing the hard truths of systemic injustice. I appreciated the Expressive Arts Therapy program commitment to helping us each figure out the best way for each of us to learn based on our unique skills, challenges, and temperament. So our application deadline is July 15th. And the EXA admissions representative is Skylar Hall, and her email address is shall@ciis.edu. We also have the Office of Financial Aid listed here. One other email address that's not listed here, but that you should have, is for the Expressive Arts Therapy Program Coordinator, Mahal Logan. And her email address is mlogan, that's Logan, at CIIS.edu. And she's also a wealth of information and support to all of us in the program.